පුඤ්ඤං සුඛං ජීවිත සංඛයං හි සබ්බස්ස දුක්ඛස්ස සුඛං පහනං සුඛාමත්තේයතා ලෝකේ අතෝ පෙත්තේයතා සුඛා සුඛං යාව ජරා සීලං සුඛා සද්ධා පතිට්ඨිතා සුඛෝ පුඤ්ඤස්ස පටිලාභෝ පාපානං අකරණං සුඛං ආයිතරීතරේන පුඤ්ඤං සුඛං ජීවිත සංඛයං හි සබ්බස්ස දුක්ඛස්ස සුඛං පහනං සුඛාමත්තේයතා ලෝකේ සුඛෝ මෙත්තේයතා සුඛා සුඛා සාමඤ්ඤතා ලෝකේ අත්ථෝ ගම්මඤ්ඤතා සුඛා සුඛං යාව ජරා සීලං සුඛා සද්ධා පතිට්ඨිතා සුඛෝ පුඤ්ඤස්ස පටිලාභෝ පාපානං අකරණං සුඛං. Three stanzas together, all are related. Meaning, when need arises, present is to have friends. Pleasant is to be content with just this and that. Present is merit when life is at an end. Pleasant is the shunning of all ill. So this word you can understand very easily, sukha. Same meaning. Athamhi jatamhi sukha sahaya. Whenever we have some work, whenever we need others' support, at least moral support, whenever we are in trouble or we are sick, at that time we feel the importance of friends. Why friends are important? Real friends come to assist us, give their support, moral support, reduce our fear and tensions and worries, to console us in various ways. That is why it is mentioned in another place, Vissasa Paramanyati, in the sayings of the Buddha. The reliable or trustworthy friends are the real relatives. Not because that we had some blood relationship with others. those who have some blood relationship claim something. They say, we are bound to do something for them because of that blood relationship. If not, they can accuse or blame. But friends are not like that. The Buddha says, Vissasa, reliable, trustworthy. Friends are the real relatives. Because without any blood relationship, they come to give their support, give their helping hand when their services are needed or when we are in trouble. So friends are very important. In Mangala Sutta also, the Buddha mentioned, those who have good friends, who develop their understanding, mutual understanding, are blessed. They are very fortunate. Because there are many things that they can do for their friends to release their worries and fear and suffering, to give them some sort of confidence, especially when they are very sick. At that time, we need their support. Because there are many things that they can do for us to console us. When we have frustrations or unsatisfaction, disappointment, they can give us confidence. Therefore here the Buddha says, Attamhi jatamhi sukha sahaya. So when we need some services, then we feel the importance of friends. The next line, Tutti sukhaya itari tarena. This one we always discuss. One who is contented always experience sukha. No worries, no jealousy, no anger, no enemies, no problems, no troubles, no violence, because they are contented. So when we are contented, we can avoid so many problems. Contentment is one of the greatest achievement. Santutti paramang dhana. Here the Buddha says, Santutti, contentment or satisfaction. Paramang, highest. Dhanang, wealth. Highest wealth is the contentment, not the property. Property cannot give contentment. Property develops fear, worries, suspicion, uncertainty, insecurity, jealousy, anger, enemies, so many problems. But one who is contented, that contentment he take as wealth. Because of that wealth, he experienced security, happiness, satisfaction, and peace. So by reducing our crazy attitude towards so many things, the more we become humble or simple, the more we experience happiness in our life. But the trouble is, we are going on adding more and more gadgets in our life, in our dress, in our food, in our enjoyment. We are going on increasing. And now we do not know where we are. We cannot go down. We cannot slow down. Because we were caught. Then we struggle. The problems, disturbances come to us because of these extra gadgets that we increase. I think you can remember I have told you a Muslim scholar, what he has said about 100 years ago. In Urdu language, he has written a beautiful poem. He says, if you want to see the most contented, the happiest man in this world, look at that prince who is in beggar's clothing. Referring to the Buddha. He is a prince, but wearing a beggar's clothing. But the most contented and happy human beings on this earth. This clearly shows the more we become humble and simple, we increase the values in our life. Human values we can see there, not in our dress. There is no human values in our dress. The more we become simple, then we increase the value. So by considering this very carefully, in various discourses, the Buddha has mentioned this. Santutti paramang dhanam. Try to maintain contentment as much as possible. Then people ask, if we maintain some sort of contentment, thinking this is enough, there is no development. And what sort of development do they expect? If there is no happiness, if there is no security, if there is no safety, if there is no freedom, what sort of development they can gain by developing their greed and selfishness? They never gain any satisfaction. Invite more trouble, more headache, more problems. Then, the more we become humble, then nobody wants to disturb us. Nobody wants to criticize or condemn or accuse or blame. And no jealousy, no anger. We will be free from all these things if you can reduce too much of crazy attitude toward the pleasure as well as toward the way of life. Otherwise, there is no end. It's a very big battle. We will be free from this battle if we can maintain this contentment. Contentment does not mean that you should not work. You had to work, you had to earn, you had to work very hard. But after gaining what you needed for you and for your family, to maintain, to sustain everything, that is called contentment. Now this is enough. We don't know to go beyond that. That is called contentment. So that is the second sukha. Here, according to this, tutti sukhaya itari tarena. Punyang sukhang jivitang sankayampi. Punya is the real happiness that gives us confidence. Our property cannot give us confidence, uncertain. Property can be destroyed by fire, flood, or thieves, if not bluffing, cheating, stealing, uncertain. Or government also can confiscate anytime, uncertain. But punyang sukhang jivitang rakkama. For a life most reliable, unchangeable property or sukha or the happiness is our own good karma. Punya means our own good karma. This good karma, this punya, no one can destroy. God also cannot destroy. The Buddha also cannot destroy. Devils also cannot destroy. No one can steal. There is nobody in this world who can destroy your good karma. And also bad karmas. No one can destroy. But you can destroy if you know the technique. Others cannot do that. So if you know that you have accumulated, you have performed enough punya, enough merit for you to maintain your life within this lifetime, especially hereafter. Because within this lifetime, we are spending what we have earned, accumulated during the previous birth, the spending. So while spending the good merit, we are also going on accumulating fresh karma. Just like your bank account. What you have deposited, you withdraw. After that, you go and deposit some more. This is exactly like this. So you should not waste all your good karmas that you have accumulated during your previous birth without accumulating fresh karma for your future. Because there is nobody else to take the responsibilities of your life. Remember that. You cannot depend on Buddha, you cannot depend on God, you cannot depend on relatives or friends, individual. My own karma is responsible for my life. And your karma is responsible for your life. Therefore, it is your duty to accumulate good karma if you want to carry on your life smoothly, peacefully, without facing the problems and disturbances, shortcoming. That is why here the Buddha says, Punyang sukhang jivitang rakkhe. So especially when you grow old, when we are weak, then we had to recall, remember all the good deeds, all the merits, all the services that we have done. Then gives a lot of happiness. At that age, we gain happiness by thinking all the good deeds that we have done earlier. Not by thinking how we enjoy our life when we were young. That never gives happiness. Since our senses are not very active at that age, our mind also not very sound, physical body also not strong enough, we create some sort of frustration, disappointment. When we see how others enjoy their life, we feel very sad. Because when we grow old, when the body grows old, our cravings never grow old. Remember that. Craving become younger, more alert, because cannot satisfy craving. Then we increase more and more craving. So only thing that can console us at that stage is our own karma. So I have done all these good things. You have to record. Keep a good record. What do you have done? What do you have donated? What kind of services you have rendered? Then when you are free, read. Gives happiness. But don't record all the bad things you have done. That will disturb your mind. So, those days actually it was a very common practice. Especially a well-known person like kings and the ministers, the rulers. They record all the good deeds that they have done earlier. So when we grow old, then when they cannot read, then ask somebody to read all the good deeds that this person has done earlier. Then that gives happiness. When we develop happiness in our good deeds, we multiply, we increase few degrees in our merit. This is another advantage. Especially certain meritorious deeds, just like contributing to put up this kind of religious building, contributing to erect the Buddha image, or contributing for printing religious book, or helping those poor students for their education. So when you see those places, those persons, you gain wonderful happiness. Every time when you enter into this building, if you have donated even $5 or $1, or I also donated for this building, then happiness. Then the merit also increase and increase and increase. Many people do not know that. Multiply. So, that is why it is necessary to record all the good deeds. That you can multiply, increase few degrees by gaining happiness in your meritorious deeds. So after that we can develop hopes and confidence in our life, thinking that my life cannot become a miserable one hereafter. That is very important. That is what many others are doing. When people are very weak, very sick, when they are going to die, the other religious group approach them. So now, time has come for you to develop your faith and belief toward the God. The God will send you to heaven. Be happy. Develop this faith and confidence. At that moment, that man, that is a very good news. He take this as true. Because the mind is very weak. So, but here the method introduced by the Buddha, not to depend on others, not to depend on God, but to depend on our own good karma, what we have done, more reliable. Then certainty is there. It is not uncertain. Because we know the good effect. So the life can become more meaningful, more peaceful, more happy, more prosperous one. When we develop this, create this, recall all our good deeds into our mind. So when we come to a certain stage in our age, we had to reduce our mind from many of those worldly bondages and responsibilities and commitments. Then we get the chance to maintain peace, relax. Then recall, remember the good deeds, meritorious deeds, services that you have done to release others' sufferings and worries and disturbances. Then if we die, when such thoughts are functioning, active in our mind, it is impossible for that person to be born as an animal, or spirit, or devil, or ghost, or hell, or unfortunate life. If not, there is another advice. It is in Mahasamaya Sutra. Mention this. When someone is going to die, if that person has not done enough meritorious deeds, and now it is too late to do some meritorious deeds. So what to do? Yekeci buddhang saranang gatate nate gamissanti apaya pahaya manusang dehang devakayang paripuresanti. This you can see in Mahasamaya Sutra, in Paritta chanting book. The meaning is, when someone takes refuge in the Buddha, that means recall the Buddha into the mind. We accommodate the Buddha in our mind at that moment. So when we maintain this, the image of the Buddha in our mind, if we die at that moment, maybe a short period, but you escape from the unfortunate state. So if rebirth take place as human beings, then develop more and more good karmas. After that, develop further and further. Escape from the bad effect. So these are very good advices given by the Buddha for us to console our mind, to gain more confidence, to make up our mind, not to depend on others, but by creating such confidence in our mind, enjoy all the good deeds, what we have done. That gives, here the Buddha says, that gives sukha, happiness. At that moment, this sukha, this happiness is more important than anything else in this world. Sabbassa dukkhassa sukham pahana. Then the highest sukha, greatest one, is sabbassa dukkhassa sukham pahana. By eradicating, keeping away any kinds of physical and mental frustration, disappointment, unsatisfactoriness, pain, sufferings. If these evil forces are not disturbed, the mind, at that time we experience the highest sukha, the happiness. Because the mind is free from all the evil forces. But at this moment, our minds are not free from any of these things. So what we are doing actually, we control them, we suppress them by taking certain other object into the mind. Now you are listening. You pay attention. So the mind occupied with this. So no chance of the evil forces to create mental pollution, disturbances in your mind because you are concentrating. If you want to go further, then, as mentioned by our Reverend, develop more and more kindness, compassion, sympathy, metta. Then the cruelty, anger, jealousy, grudge, ill will, all the evil forces go down and down and down and down. No chance to flare up. But remains there. The roots still remain there. For the time being, we can suppress and control them, then we feel very happy. We experience some sort of happiness by controlling them. But when we allow them to stir and flare up, those evil forces play havoc, completely ruin our mind, our body, our way of life, our activities, everything will be in chaotic condition. It depends how we handle our mind. So we should not allow our mind to act as it like. That is why knowledge and understandings are important. How to handle this mind. Otherwise, by nature, we are not good people. That is why we are trying to be good. If we are good, not necessary for us to use this effort to be good. We know we are not good. We know we have weaknesses. We know we have bad habits. But not so easy to control them. And then we try to gain more knowledge, more understanding, how to handle with them. Then the mind cannot act as it wants. The trouble is this. Many people don't like religion, especially Buddhism. Why? Buddhism asks you not to do what you like to do. That is the problem. Then they say Buddhism is not practical. You want to do so many things, but Buddhism say cannot. Then you say Buddhism is out of, not out of order, out of date. Buddhism never support your ideas that you have created according to your selfishness, your craving, your attachment. Buddhism always advised to calm and control and disciplines and train by knowing the danger. Because you get into trouble if you allow your mind to act as it were. So religion is needed here to train that mind. Your religion means your knowledge, your understanding. Then, Sukha Matteyata Loke is always emphasized in the Buddha's teaching. Not only actually in the Buddha's teaching, when we refer to other religions also, similar sayings we can find. Here, Sukha Matteyata Loke, those who fulfill their duties toward their mother, Matteya, mother, gain wonderful happiness. Because we can understand how our mother suffered, how much time he spent for us. At the risk of her life, she has given birth to us. We can understand how she had to suffer. So we are indebted forever. Whether they are good or bad, that is immaterial. So, if we can do something to release their suffering, their worries, their sicknesses, their problems, that gives us wonderful happiness. We have done our duty towards our mother. Sukha Matteyata Loke. In the Buddha's language, always mother come first, not the father. Never say father and mother. The Buddha say mother and father. Mother is more important. Mother is the one who suffers. Therefore, mother comes first. Then, just now I told you, not only Buddhism, Hinduism, Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, in Sanskrit. Regard your father and mother as your God. Not create a God, as God. Regard, that means respect them as God. Bible also say, honor thy father and honor thy mother. It's not a new thing. And this one also, I think I have told you what Prophet Muhammad has said. That is very touching. When his daughter asked, you always talk about heaven or paradise. Can you tell me where it is? Then Muhammad gave very meaningful answer. He said, heaven is at the feet of your father and mother. That means, when you respect your father and mother, when you fulfill your duties towards your father and mother, you will be in heaven. So every religion, again, in the Buddha's teaching, he has introduced certain important duties for us to fulfill if we really want to go to heaven. Because our main purpose is not the heaven. We have to go beyond that. But those who are keen, those who like to go to heaven, here the Buddha has shown the path, the method, what to do. But he never say, you must pray to God and worship and do some offering, then you can go to heaven. No. He started Mata Petti Bharang Jantu. First you had to support your mother and father. Mata Petti Bharang Jantu. Kule Jetta Pachayana. Then you had to respect the elders in your family, especially in your family. Your auntie, your uncle, your grandmother, grandfather, elder sister, elder brother, you had to respect them because they have more experience about life. There are many things for you to learn from them. So when you respect them, you listen to them. Then you can adjust your life to avoid certain problems and disturbances. Respect the elder. Sanhang Sakila Sambhasa. When you talk, you must know how to talk without using harsh, wicked, vulgar words which hurt others' feeling. You must know how to talk gently, politely, without hurting others' feeling. A man who came and scolded a monk by using all the vulgar words, wicked words, the monk was listening very quietly. So when he ended his scolding, the monk asked, "Are you satisfied?" Then he said, "Yes." In that case, I am also satisfied. Because I supported you for you to gain that satisfaction. You can understand the reaction. If I also jumped and shouted at you, you never gain that happiness, that satisfaction. So I contributed something for you to gain that happiness. Therefore, I am also happy. This is the technique, the Buddhist way. How to avoid clashes, conflicts, violence, bloodshed. 1 or 2 words are enough to settle big problems. So what we need is tolerance, understanding. If you can adapt these simple things, very simple, but can avoid very big problems and violence and enmity. Therefore, you must know how to talk, what to talk, without aggravating the situation or the anger. Sanhang Sakila Sambhasa. Vesuneya Pahayana. Try to avoid slandering. Many people are very busybody, they cannot keep quiet. When somebody says something against another person, purposely get a taxi and go there and tell him, you know, so-and-so scolded you using vulgar word, wicked word, and create enmity and create problems. This is the nature. They enjoy by doing that. So, we had to avoid that. If there is any possibility to settle that problem, what they had, then it will become a very good service, without aggravating the situation, without creating enmity, without making them enemies. Sannhang sakila sambhasa, vesuneya pahai, machera. If you are stingy, if you are selfish, you cannot go to heaven. You had to contribute something. You had to donate something for the happiness and welfare of others. Think of others. So by disregarding others, simply by enjoying yourself, you cannot go to heaven. Vinaya. You must know how to maintain your discipline. There are 3 ways. Manasa sangvaro sadhu, sadhu vachaya sangvaro, kayena sangvaro sadhu, sadhu sabbatta sangvaro. First, we had to discipline our own mind. Just now I told you. Don't allow mind to play havoc by creating all sorts of evil, wicked, stupid ideas. Handle the mind properly, train the mind. Then there will be mental discipline, mental training. Vachaya sangvaro sadhu. When we talk, we must know what we talk. We must know what are the suitable words and terms and subject matters to talk. We must know to whom that we are talking. Different technique. Art of talking. So by knowing this, we have to talk. Otherwise, can go on talking all sort of rubbish. Create more confusion, more misunderstanding. Nothing to contribute. Kayena sangvaro sadhu. When we do something, when we walk, when we eat, when we lie down, when we sit down, there must be some sort of discipline. In every action, there must be discipline. The other day I told you, amongst those 227 precepts for the monks, most of them, more than 75%, to discipline their way of life. Otherwise, they are not immoral or harmful or wicked or dangerous. Manners. So the Buddha wanted to introduce very gentle disciples who knows how to maintain their dignity and good image. I think you can remember some of those precepts I told you. When we eat, so before we bring the food nearer to our mouth, we should not open the mouth earlier. This is one of the precepts. Again he says, all right, the food is in your mouth, then you are going to, I'll come here. You should not talk by keeping the food in your mouth. You must swallow. If necessary, you have to talk later. Again he says, after eating, you should not do like this. If not, you should not do like this. Of course, those who use chopstick, I think. But Indian way of eating, they say there is no taste if they don't lick it. When you ask, why do you want to lick? No, otherwise no taste, They say. The Buddha, having seen all those things, they must avoid these things. Not gentle. He wanted to introduce this kind of discipline in various ways. So discipline is the most important thing to observe the precept. Precept meaning we follow certain discipline. By keeping away from those, certain things are harmful, certain things are very cruel or wicked, certain things are very immoral, they are dangerous things. But the rest, all the manners or some sort of traditional practices respected by the elders all over the world, many parts of the world. Then, I have not completed. Because I had to tell you how to go to heaven, all the important items. Mata petti bharang jantung kule jetta pacayanang sanhang sakila sambhasang pesuneya pahayanang macchera vinaya. Discipline. Macchera vinaye yutta. Satchang. What is satchang? Truthfulness. Satya. Chaturarya Satya. Satya or Satya. Four noble truths. Satchang means truth. If you tell lies, you can go to heaven. You can pray and worship and do everything, but if you tell lies, you cannot go to heaven. Because Devas never tell lies. Never. Only human beings. So, if you are keen to go to heaven, you have to train yourself here before you go to heaven. Otherwise, when you go there, you spoil the heaven also by telling lies. Satya. The most difficult thing. The most difficult thing for human being to do. Telling the truth. Because we have some extraordinary development in our mind. Our cunningness, our hypocrisy, and cheating, bluffing, swindling. All these qualities we can find in a human mind. Others do not know how to do it. Other living beings do not know how to pretend. Take for instance, if a dog is fierce, that dog never go by in the tail near to and then suddenly come and bite. No, from the very beginning, that dog is fierce. Because dog cannot pretend. But as human beings, we can approach others with smiling face, nice, sweet words, and wonderful. And finally, catch. This development we can find only in human mind. This is development. Developed our mind with selfishness. Then crookedness, cunningness, then cheating, bluffing, swindling, pretending. We develop all these qualities. These are the biggest problem in our human society. It is very difficult for us to trust another human being. Animals, we can trust. We know they are dangerous or not. But humans, we cannot trust. Whether they are dangerous or honest or sincere or cunning, we cannot understand. We had to associate with for a long time, to know. Even husband and wife who lived together long period, still wife cannot understand the mentality of husband cannot understand the mentality of wife. Because they can pretend, never show the real mentality, the nature of the mind. Always pretend. So these are the biggest problems that mind create. But when we develop our knowledge and understanding and reality in life, then slowly we can reduce these human weaknesses. After that, Koda Vibhung Nara, Krodha, anger, hatred, ill will, there are few words. So by keeping anger, by keeping hatred in our mind, we cannot go to heaven. We are not qualified to go to heaven. Now we can see the Buddha's method. If you really want to go to heaven, you have to cultivate all these qualities. Then, whether you have religion or not, it is immaterial. Whether we are Buddhists or Hindus or Christians makes no difference. These are the humane qualities, virtues. So these humane qualities, anyone can develop even without depending on any religion. So the Buddha's way of teaching is such. Without depending on any particular religious label, we can cultivate all the good qualities to be real human beings. So if you are keen to go to heaven, you have to follow this. No shortcut. Remember.